Good evening. I'm in the middle of the chats now. And I'm not an idiot tonight. I think I pressed the right buttons and I should be streaming over to YouTube. I done goofed on Wednesday. So, what's up, guys? Happy Friday. Hope you're going to have a good weekend. On deck tonight, we're going to talk Mamdani visiting the White House in a visit that shocked both sides of the political aisle. And those are my favorite things. Those are my favorite happenings. Anything that shocks both sides of the political aisle and gets everybody uncomfortable is what I love the most. Because that's what people need to get triggered outside of their comfort zones. The left needs to get triggered, as does the right. So, is Mamdani our guy? Yeah, I don't know. I got some theories on that one. Not sold on anything, but we'll talk about it. Ukraine peace deal getting discussed between Russia and the U.S. and the New World Order apparently hates it. Europe hates it. Ukraine hates it. That means I might very well like it. Venezuela, some happenings going on there. A NOTAM, basically airspace restrictions from now until February. So that's a good long window that doesn't give us any kind of date or expectation or anything, but something that is notable. A notable NOTAM. Mike Huckabee. Huckabee. Ambassador to Israel. Huckabee. Caught meeting with a spy. Huckabee. Bill and Hillary Clinton under fire. Congress folks desperately getting them trying to sit for depositions, but the Clintons' lawyer is basically writing to Congress and saying, "Oh, they can just make a written statement. They got nothing to say. There's no reason for them to sit for a deposition. They could just send you a little letter." And the sedition video from the Democrats. Yeah, that's a doozy. Delicious sedition. We'll touch on that one too. What's up, guys? Mamdani is Satan's guy. Well, that's what the optics looked like. That's what the story, the narrative looked like. But, you know, assumptions make an ass out of you and me when you make them. So we're just going to maybe ascertain some possibilities with Mamdani. Good to see me back on YouTube. Hello, Joe. Glad to have you here. Good evening from Louisiana, Sissy May. Tampa, Florida. CJ Trump says, "Didn't shock me. I love how Trump handled it." Trolled the shit out of him, but also made nice with him. Interesting. Two Bear says, "The Ghost show was great. Us two make a good conversation. Gordon and Jordan. Coming at you." That button. Oh, one thing I forgot, man. Doing these streams, there's always like 50 different things that I have to make sure I have correct. There we go. Yeah. Interview with Gordon. I uploaded this morning. We chatted about Middle East happenings, the relationship between Trump and Netanyahu. A lot of hot take influencers on the internet like to say that Trump is a Zionist puppet. He's Bibi's bitch, but Gordon and I present quite the case that that is not the case. So we talked about a lot of deeper happenings surrounding the relationships between world leaders, particularly Middle East leaders, Saudi Arabia, Israel, relationships to the U.S., touched on sovereign alliance ideas. Sometimes the good guys look like the bad guys, and the bad guys look like the good guys. And that thought will apply to our discussion on Mamdani today. So, yeah, go check out that video I did with Gordon. Uploaded it to YouTube, Rumble, and my BitChute. I don't do much on BitChute, but I still upload some stuff there. Main video channels are Rumble and YouTube, and then Pilled for some streams. Also, podcast with Liz Crokin that we did at the Old State Saloon here in Boise, Idaho. They uploaded that as well. Go check that out if you wish. You can find it on our channels or the Old State Salooncast Rumble page. And then if you want to support the shit posting, support the shit streaming, you can subscribe to either Patreon or Locals. And by doing so, you'll get access to an exclusive Telegram chat that I call Only Friends. In my Only Friends chat, always good conversations going on. And I give my 2 cents. I try to support people on different things. Past few days, we've been talking about crypto because the stonk markets, crypto markets, kind of on the brink. Crypto markets kind of collapsing a bit. So I've been helping people through their digital currency investments. So you can come into that chat for some advice, for some support on things. Also, good conversation. Been talking to some folks. We've been spitballing ideas on humanity's true origin, whether we've been genetically engineered or not. Conversations in there are always good. So anyway, if you want to get in on that private Telegram chat, subscribe for a few bucks per month, Locals or Patreon. You'll get in on that chat and also help me do these live streams for you. And if that doesn't suit your fancy, you can also check out my supplement line, ConsciousStrength.net, link down below. Methylene Blue, greens powder, Shilajit gummies, medicinal mushroom coffee, electrolytes, oregano oil. Got a line, always growing. Right now, the curcumin for pets, Furcumin, is buy one, get one half off. Sprinkle it in your old dog's or old cat's food. It'll help them. It'll help them feel a lot better. I get really good reviews on this stuff for old pets. So go check it out. Any questions? Let me know. Locals, Joe asks. Yes, yes indeed. Locals. Locals or Patreon. Same price and you get the same thing, so whichever one you prefer. Yoel says on Rumble, not sure where I found out, but there was banter that Trump has pretty much shut Netanyahu off. Yeah, honestly, I think that might be the case. Billy says, workday complete. What up from Northeast Washington State? You talking Spokompton, Spokanistan, or a little north of that? What's that town north of Spokane? I had a college buddy that was from there. Start with a T? I forget the name of the town. Haven't been up that northeast of Washington. Spokane's the farthest I've gone. Up in that corner of the state. I'm more familiar with the west side of it. Olympic Peninsula, Kitsap Peninsula. Cool. All right. We're going to start off with the CDC website real quick. So, the CDC quietly updated their website now, saying the claim that vaccines do not cause autism is not evidence-based. And studies supporting links between vaccines and autism have been ignored by health authorities. That's, apparently that was an RFK Jr. change. Reportedly, RFK Jr. forced the hand at that change. And it's true. Here's the CDC website. The claims that vaccines do not cause autism is not an evidence-based claim because studies have not ruled out the possibility that infant vaccines cause autism. Studies supporting a link have been ignored by health authorities. HHS has launched a comprehensive assessment of the causes of autism, including investigations on plausible biologic mechanisms and potential causal links. So the correlation is not causation crowd. Getting wrecked by this one. And man, the establishment, the medical establishment is freaking out over this one. Example, Exhibit A. Embarrassing and horrifying. CDC workers describe the new vaccines and autism page. The best way I can put it is it feels like we're on a hijacked airplane. Oh no, our health agencies got hijacked. We're literally shaking. We can't tell if that shaking is vaccine damage, but we're literally shaking. Say CDC workers. CDC workers who were too pussy to give their names declined to be identified for fear of retaliation. Oh my gosh. And this is one exhibit of hundreds that the media has written over the past 24 hours over this one. This shows you a lot of things. First of all, it shows you how one little itty-bitty change, 3 little sentences on a website, freaks the medical establishment out. And that point is important because you've got some folks out there just dying for the whole system to be roto-rooted and collapse and destroyed, everything gone, rebuild. I get it. I want that too. But one little change like this goes a long way. And it also shows you how just tearing down the whole system overnight would cause a lot of chaos. It'd cause a lot of chaos. So these baby steps, step by step. But the baby steps go a long way. Although step by step, we're getting there. We're getting to the point of rooting out that whole system. Crumbling it down and rebuilding. There's a lot of rebuilding going on in our health agencies. And all the political stuff gets our attention, which is actually kind of good. Our attention goes to all these other matters while health agencies get cleaned out. But let's not forget that. So I cover this every single Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on Badlands Media, Maha News Show, Nate and I. So every single week we cover the latest Maha news of the week, seeing what's going on with our health agencies, FDA, CDC, HHS, and USDA. Quite honestly, the USDA is the one I'm not impressed with. There's like, I'd give the USDA so far like a C-, maybe a D+. I don't know if I'd give them a passing grade. A couple of things from the USDA I've liked, but most not so much. Although FDA, CDC, and HHS, I'd give like A's, A-. So, shout out to Conscious Strength by X22 Report 52-minute mark. Nice! Thank you, Dave. Baller, I'll have to go check that one out. I didn't know that our friend Dave gave me a shout out. Was it the CDC post? Let me know. I'll be checking out the comments. Every step is good, even baby steps. Absolutely. As long as there is progress forward, I will not complain about the speed of that progress. Thoughts on James Fox, the UFO documentary person? He just seems pretty normie to me. I don't know much about him. He might be a good guy. He could be kind of grifty. I don't know. I've just heard rumors that I can't verify. But when I look at his body of work, normie. He entertains the Lou Elizondos and Chris Mellons of the world, so gatekeeper UFO documentaries, whether James Fox realizes it or not, really. That would be my quick 2 cents. All right. Mamdani. Trump says Zohran Mamdani will surprise conservatives after the great meeting. Mamdani signals willingness to work with Trump. Dude, some of the clips coming from this are actually, kind of shocking. By the way, Mamdani is Indian. He was born in Africa and he's Indian. And I'm seeing a lot of normie right-wing internet clown on him like he's a Muslim. His parents are actually Hindu. So if you're gonna do racism, at least do the racism right. Just seeing a lot of people get that wrong. Mamdani was born in Africa and his parents are Hindu. Anyway, Trump says he hopes Zohran Mamdani will become a really great mayor of New York City, adding that he plans to support efforts to improve safety and quality of life in the city. One more button I forgot to click. Hold on. I got to get the desktop audio coming through OBS. If only I was making $7,000 a post, I would be able to afford a production crew. But I do not, chat. APAC is not here. I am the production crew and the graphic designer. That's why they are incredibly amateur. Okay.
Good for everybody. But I just want to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am, I will say. There's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true.
Did you say there's no difference in party? Huh. I haven't seen these clips yet.
A strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Please.
I appreciated the
Good for.
I mean, this is a doozy.
I appreciate it.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes.
First off, the handshake. You can tell a lot from Trump by his body language. This is something that Gordon and I were assessing with Trump and his relationship with, say, Saudi Arabia Crown Prince bin Salman and Netanyahu. I mean, like Trump's body language with bin Salman, they're best buds. They love each other. Trump's body language whenever he meets with Netanyahu is not good. Like Trump will legitimately just turn his back on Netanyahu and Netanyahu will reach in for a handshake and Trump's back's turned to him. Then he begrudgingly goes in for a handshake. So you can tell how Trump respects or doesn't respect people based off really his handshakes. This one's interesting. Because Trump goes in for it first.
Does New York City love President Trump?
Oop. He goes in for it first, and then that double tap. And then Zohran Mamdani says there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential elections. That's an incomplete statement there. More than who? More than what? More than was accounted for? More than there's a lot he didn't say. But all right. Another clip. Couple minute one here.
I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up. You know, I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. This meeting that you people have gone crazy. You know, outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting. The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares.
Yeah, because how much shit they talked about each other, and now they're meeting and at least acting like good bros.
But they did care about this meeting, and it was a great meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was going to ask you exactly that. Why do you think there's so much more, so much excitement around this thing in some form?
Because I think he's different. All right? I think he's different, and that can be in a very positive way, but I think he's different than, your typical guy, runs, wins, becomes mayor maybe, and nothing exciting. Because he has a chance to really do something great for New York. New York is at a very critical point.
He's got a chance to do something great for New York.
And he does need the help of the federal government to really succeed, and we're going to be helping him. But
we're going to be helping him.
Your average candidate. Hey, he came out of nowhere. I said he has a great campaign manager standing over there. He came out of nowhere. What'd you start?
He came out of nowhere. I got two theories. And when I have theories, when I float possibilities, I'm not sold on them. I just entertain ideas and try to come across all the evidence I can to see which one is a more reasonable, legitimate, logical path to go down. So cringe, hard to watch. Why? I think it's awesome to watch. It's like people in their binary thinking, they're attached to this idea that either this guy's good, this guy's bad, and there's this emotional attachment to that binary thinking or that tribalism, that label, that box. I'm attached to the left, I'm attached to the right, so I hate the people on the other side. Get out of that binary thinking. Get out of the emotional attachment to love something or hate something just because. I'm entertaining two ideas here. Idea A is that Trump has some serious leverage on Mamdani and is making him bend the knee like a little bitch. Mamdani is obliging, and that's why this went so well. Option B is that maybe Mamdani was a white hat plant all along. Because he said some wacky shit on the campaign trail. Wacky shit. Right? Very commie. Which is great for optics. It does a few things. It sells the crazy commie lefties in New York on him. And he makes a great target for the Patriot side, the Trump side, against those narratives and against him. As soon as he becomes mayor-elect, he's quote-unquote elected, he's done a series about face. This is a post I made earlier. Mamdani said some wacky shit on his way to getting elected. Great for optics. But now that he's mayor-elect, he's doing quite the about face. And honestly, the same could be said for a few Democrats out there, right? Either they've been leveraged to work for Team Patriot under the guise of being left-wing, or they were plants all along. I might even throw John Fetterman in that bucket. And maybe a few others. Just ideas. Just ideas. And check out this one.
I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, let's get a little bit interesting, right?
Trump's talking about his poll numbers.
I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, let's get a little bit interesting, right?
Then he went up to 17. And I said, that's a little bit interesting, right?
What?
Huh. Chat says, I know of someone who thinks AOC is really a white hat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'd be sold on AOC, but maybe a couple. Or they've just been leveraged. If they weren't planted from the beginning, they've been leveraged to do good things under the cover of Democrat. There are no white hats, says Trey in the chat. There are humans. Humans who make choices. I suppose it is a little oversimplified to slap the black hat or white hat label on people. But for general purposes, ease of discussion, sometimes we do use those labels, black hat, white hat. Yes, it is an oversimplification, but what we're dealing with are humans. Humans who make choices. And people can change. They can make a lot of bad choices and decide to do better things. They can make a lot of good choices and freaking go downhill. So, back to this. House votes during this meeting, right before this meeting. House of Representatives votes overwhelmingly on resolution denouncing the horrors of socialism. Hours before Mamdani meets with Trump, 86 Democrats vote with Republicans to denounce the horrors of socialism. What is happening? What is happening to the Democrat Party? Kind of wild. Like this right here. Incoming New Jersey Democrat Governor Sherrill suggests state won't pay federal taxes in the protest of Trump administration. Wild. Like, I don't... Yeah, okay. I ain't mad about that.
Are you not entertained?
Granted, I know nothing about this woman, okay? So I'm not making any kind of assessment on her. She could be a legitimately crazy psychopath lady and just saying the thing. But, all right. Okay. Let's get more of that. That's something that red states and blue states could hopefully come together over. No matter what your political leaning, everybody hates those. Everybody hates the taxes. So, all right. Yeah. Chat says red team versus blue team is tedious. And I agree. We need to move past the labels and start looking at issues, looking at ideas on the merits. Is that all on the Mamdani situation? I think so. Now let's look at the delicious, seditious video from Democrats that clearly are the crazy psychopath kind.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, The threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
What an odd thing to say.
Is this to shock you just conceptually that now in our government, elected officials are actually looking into a camera and telling the military to disregard the orders of the commander-in-chief?
That video by those Democrats, politicians in Congress, is the most dangerous video imaginable. They are calling on the military and intel officials to ignore an order of the president of the United States, and they are asking these line CIA agents and these frontline soldiers to make a legal determination whether a president's order is lawful or unlawful, and then these non-lawyers are supposed to take a drastic step of ignoring what they think could be an unlawful order of a president because these Democrats, members of Congress, are encouraging them to do this.
You must disobey unlawful orders. But the establishment, the media, the propaganda, they're creating this vague gray area where they claim things are illegal or unlawful when they're not. Thereby, these soldiers or these intelligence officers in the field, then they're confused. They're like, oh, I thought this was illegal or unlawful when it's not. And then you see, as Mike Davis explains here, they want them to play lawyer, so then they just refuse the chain of command orders.
Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful. And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books. And to suggest an
Yo, Alex Soros put out a statement that he will pay for your legal fees if your constitutional rights were violated. So if one of these CIA officers openly violates chain of command and gets sued or some shit for it, Alex Soros is going to pay his legal fees? Man. They're in for a bad time. This might be a serious... This might turn out to be something serious. Because in that video, one of them guys said, you must refuse. You can refuse. You can refuse. You must refuse. Legal orders. Imagine recording this video, reading the teleprompter, and then hitting post. Editing it up and hitting post. Yeah, this is some Civil War type shit. For sure. This might lead to something big. Crazy sedition video. Imagine thinking that was a good idea. And they was all freaking out over Trump's truth post here. Seditious behavior punishable by death. He didn't name anybody. He didn't say what it was. It was just 5 words. But clearly, the guilty parties, the guilty consciences out there, What's the plural of conscience? Conchi? The guilty parties freaked out. Chat says MTG stepping down January 5th. Was that just announced? I have not seen that one. Stepping down from what? Congress? Marjorie Taylor Greene says she will resign after fallout with Trump. Wow. Resign her seat in the House of Representatives. She posted in a... Yeah. 20 minutes ago. My official statement. Let's read this one real quick. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House, which is why I've always been despised in D.C. and never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties. Results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, nothing ever gets better for the common man. Debt goes higher. Corporate global interests. American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Hey, just saying, I would like to know who her family's construction company hires, okay? I'm just saying. I ran for Congress in 2020, fought every single day, believing that Make America Great Again meant America first, her favorite new phrase. This is a long one. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs. She went back on that one a little bit. She kind of, I saw a clip of her on a podcast recently, and she wasn't necessarily against H-1Bs replacing American jobs. She was like, it just needs to be rebuilt. Anyway, yada, 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 something, something, demand release of Epstein files, something, something. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first. I think she virtue signals over the Epstein file stuff quite a bit. Ha ha ha! Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. There is no plan to save the world or insane 4D chess game being played. Ha 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 ha.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
I don't know. I'm getting some vibes that MTG someone got to her. That one is funny. Because she used to be quite the Q follower. Shit, she even follows me on Twitter. And she just came on Badlands Media like a few weeks ago. A group of podcasters who talk all the time about deep political strategy being played and plans to save the world. Chat says, is she a multimillionaire now? I think she was quite wealthy before she even ran for Congress. I've seen some posts of people claiming her net worth was like $700,000 when she first ran for Congress, and now it's at like 30 million. I think that AI was wrong or something. I think she had quite a bit of money before she even ran for Congress. So I don't know. I don't think she's one of those that went all Nancy Pelosi and 100x'd her net worth in Congress. But feel free to fact check that. MTG is a real one. Maybe. That's what we assume, right? That's what that's how the story appears for the cameras. But, you know, you got to be careful with the camera narratives. Interesting. We'll see what happens from this. Anyway, where were we? Ukraine. U.S. threatens to cut intelligence and weapons in an effort to press Ukraine into a peace deal, say sources. The United States has threatened to cut intelligence sharing and weapons supplies for Ukraine to press it into agreeing to a framework of a U.S. brokered peace deal. Ukraine and Europe freak the F out, reject Trump's Russia peace plan, prepare an emergency call. President Trump's peace plan for Ukraine, which would commit U.S. and European allies to treat an attack on Ukraine as an attack on the entire transatlantic community. It's an attack on the trans community. They're claiming this peace plan could be a recipe for future war. The U.S. wants to see this plan signed by Thanksgiving or as soon as next week. There's even lines on the document for everybody to sign. Ukraine, Russia, U.S., NATO, EU. Putin issues a response to Trump's peace plan after Zelensky and Europe balk. Speaking at a Russian Security Council meeting on Friday, Putin said the 28-point Ukraine peace plan could be the basis of a final peace settlement. Putin said if Kiev doesn't want to discuss President Trump's peace proposal, they and the European warmongers must realize that events in Kupiansk will repeat in key areas, maybe not as quick as we would like, but inevitably. Well, isn't that funny? Analyzing all 28 points of the leaked Ukraine-Russia peace deal framework. Point 1, Ukraine's sovereignty confirmed. Comprehensive non-aggression agreement. Expected Russia will not invade neighboring countries and NATO will not expand further. That's probably what the New World Order hates right there. Is they never were supposed to expand NATO east, but they've been doing that for like 30 years. Which was not supposed to happen. Hence why Russia big mad. Dialogue will be held between Russia and NATO. Size of Ukrainian armed forces will be limited to 600,000 personnel. Huh. Whoa, this one probably also pissing off the New World Order. Ukraine agrees to enshrine in its constitution that it will not join NATO. And NATO agrees to include in its statutes a provision that Ukraine will not be admitted in the future. No NATO troops in Ukraine. U.S. will receive compensation for the guarantee. If Ukraine invades Russia, it will lose the guarantee. U.S. is going to help Ukraine rebuild. Russia will be reintegrated into the global economy, lifting of sanctions. Long-term economic cooperation between U.S. and Russia will be invited to rejoin G8. Frozen funds will be used in U.S.-led efforts. Huh. Yeah, that's a doozy. No wonder the New World Order hates it. Also, Venezuela. U.S. issues NOTAM flight alert of heightened military activity over Venezuela. A NOTAM is notice to air missions. Basically, it's a blocked out area with either restricted flights or no flights. So there's NOTAMs that come and go. There's a permanent NOTAM over Mar-a-Lago in Washington, D.C. because president is there. Pretty much wherever the president goes is there's the FAA issues a NOTAM. This one covers all of Venezuela and parts of the Southern Caribbean. And it from now until it expires February 19th. Warning cites potentially hazardous situation and heightened military activity. So more posturing. This is more posturing. If the U.S. was going to strike something, it could do it without a notice to air missions. So a lot of this Venezuela situation is so much show, theater. So we'll see what happens in the Venezuela. Something that did happen this week is a massive oil refinery went up in flames. And you really wonder what the hell happened there. Both sides kind of pointing fingers at each other. Who done it? Huckabee. I'm not too familiar with this story. Let's check out what's going on here. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee is under fire and in the headlines after it was revealed that he met with notorious traitor and spy Jonathan Pollard at U.S. Embassy in July. Jonathan Pollard is a former American intelligence analyst who was convicted of espionage for Israel and sentenced to life in prison in 1987. Pollard's is widely viewed as one of the most single damaging spy cases in U.S. intel history, as he passed along extensive classified information, including the NSA's 10-volume guide to U.S. signals intelligence collection methods. He also directly put American intelligence agents and officials in danger and revealed the identities of thousands of individuals who assisted the U.S. intel services. CIA still considers Pollard a dangerous traitor to the nation. He passed a shitload, thousands of documents to Israeli intelligence in exchange for money and gifts. And people are wondering why the hell Huckabee met with him. One of two things. Either Huckabee went full shill and met with a shill, or Huckabee is trying to get some deets from the shill for a good reason. I don't know. No idea. New York Times first reported on this one, which is notable. Oh, yeah. Pollard received a hero's welcome when he was released from prison during the Obama years. So he was released from prison in 2015 by Obama. Big surprise. He immediately moved to Israel after 5-year parole. So this U.S. Israel spy served a 30-year sentence. Released from prison in 2015, 5 years parole, immediately moved to Israel in 2020, where he received a hero's welcome from Benjamin Netanyahu. Ha, 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 ha. Isn't that a doozy? Speaking of Netanyahu, look at what he tweeted today. Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted an article from this, it's actually a magazine out of New York called Jacobin. And the headline of this says, Jeffrey Epstein claimed to have meddled in Israelis' elections. And this whole article is about Epstein's relationship with Ehud Barak. Couple of things about this. It would appear to me, this is one theory I have about this, is that Netanyahu is trying to pin Jeffrey Epstein on his former political rival. But to do this, Netanyahu shares, this is a socialist. This is a Democrat socialist newspaper out of New York. Like straight up DSA. DSA aligned paper. I think Netanyahu's trying to distance himself from Jeffrey Epstein right now. So he's sharing stuff connecting Epstein to his political rival. Epstein bad. I'm victim. Netanyahu playing victim. Trying to distance Epstein, anything Epstein from Israel, like put it in a box. It was just Ehud Barak and Epstein. This did not have anything to do with me or anybody else in Israel. It's my guess. Speaking of Epstein, Bill Hillary Clinton told to appear for depositions in Jeffrey Epstein probe. House Oversight Chairman James Comer ordered Bill and Hillary Clinton to appear for depositions. Comey initially subpoenaed them on August 5th. But the Clintons' attorney on November 3rd had asked for the Clintons to merely make a written response of what little information they had. So they're desperate not to sit for a deposition. They just want to send a little letter. That's pretty much the story on that. Let me do a little chat break here. What up, guys? Europe should be the ones to rebuild Ukraine. In that agreement, it looked like that the U.S. would be getting some profit from that rebuilding, so it's not like we'd just be tossing money into the abyss from the peace deal. Epstein's weird-ass baby teeth. Everyone says MTG is running for Georgia governor. Oh yeah, it'll be a wonder what she tries to do after leaving the house. She gonna go for governor? Go for Georgia governor, and then Trump will endorse her. That'd be a mind fuck, which I love. I love mind fucks. Then they make up. Now kiss. Fake fight over, if it is a fake fight. Some people think it's a fake fight between MTG and Trump. Theory I entertain. Nothing I'm sold on. All right, last few stories. Construction sites in Charlotte go dark as illegals hide from ICE. What'd I do? Empty-ass construction sites. Yeah, I mean, they build good, but shouldn't should have helped them get their green cards. If you're gonna keep them on the job, you knew it was coming. Funeral for Dick Cheney. Trump and Vance not invited. Big surprise. Bush's, Mitch McConnell, Biden's, Kamala. Everybody's there. You know who's not there? Are the Obamas. They didn't go, did they? I don't see Barack there. Everybody else is. Interesting. Doesn't look like anybody got envelopes. I was hoping they'd all get envelopes. Like at H.W. Bush's funeral. But not this time. Eric Swallowswell running for governor. I'm not even going to play this video. It's so cringy. It's so bad. Swalwell's trying to stay in politics. Here's one thing about these guys running for politics is that if they get attacked, they can claim it's just a political hit piece. So that's something to keep in mind about these fools continuing to try to stay in politics. If they get investigated for crimes, which Swalwell is getting investigated for what, mortgage fraud right now? If they get investigated or accused of something or indicted, they can say, oh, it's just political shenanigans because it's not true. That's one reason they so desperately want to stay in politics. And that's all I got. I'll hang out with the chat. I'll bring in some music. I downloaded some royalty-free mixes. It's Friday, so you know what Friday means. The blues. Some folks joining in late. That's okay. It's Friday. Y'all are partying. Just read Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning. What's going on? Things are getting crazier and crazier. If you can't take the heat, get off the field. I'm the bastard over here that just wants things to get more chaotic. More! MTG resigning. J5. Epstein equals Mossad. Yep. One of them he was probably blackmailing for was Mossad. He's likely got connections to other groups and intel agencies too, but that definitely appears to be one of them. Mossad, given the Maxwell family connections. comment. My concern is the restructuring of California and possibly Texas. Dems could get 5 to 10 more seats just in targeting Latino districts. Yeah, I saw something about the redistricting in Texas. How some rhino pushed through some redistricting that was really bad. I can't remember the exact details, but it's okay. MTG will either run for the Senate or governor for Georgia. I could definitely see that. Probably Senate. Yeah, or governor. I don't think she's going to quit politics completely. John Ossoff, incumbent Democrat senator, first elected in 2021, is running for election to a second term in office. Go for Ossoff's seat. Who we got? Georgia governor. Kemp's still in there. Yep. Yeah, that'd be fun. If MTG runs for Senate or governor in Georgia and then Trump endorses her. Oh, man. Again, guys. I want max confusion. I want the path of max mindfuck for the public. And that would be a good one. Don't think she has enough statewide appeal for that, though. I've never been to Georgia, so I don't know. This is all theater, all performative. Yeah, are you just figuring that out? It's like the last 10 years of our existence. The last freaking how many decades of our existence? How many centuries? That's why we're here. That's why I'm here, trying to freaking figure this crap out. Hey, but some stuff we're not going to figure out. We have to accept that. Some stuff we just won't know. We can have some fun theories about it. At least theories that make sense. Some of these streamers and influencers and people will just come up with theories for entertainment value. I don't do it for entertainment value. I try to at least have them be reasonable. Not just because it's fun to think about. What do I think of Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer breakup? What's my opinion on Owen? I don't pay much attention to either of them. Not a fan of Alex Jones. Owen Schroyer, he's just kind of normie to me. He's like diet woke. You know, you have of course, when you say normie, you're talking about people who believe CNN or Fox News. Owen, of course, is a step above that, but he's like alternative normie. I'm trying to come up with words or descriptors for the levels of awakeness. You know, a lot of people are moving away from normie but they're getting sucked into alternative normie. Which I guess that's a decent descriptor for that class of thinker. Maybe I need like I need to come up with a DEFCON scale. WokeCon, 1 through 5. I don't know, but yeah. Sound check. Music a little loud? Or is it all right? Turn it down a wee bit. Marjorie Taylor Greene is making too much money in politics to quit. I don't think she makes that much money in politics. I think her family's construction business, which from what I've read, could be wrong, but from what I've read, she has a stake in. I think her family's construction business is doing just fine. So I don't think she's hurting. Politics or not. Mainstream alternative. Yeah, kinda. It's like alt mainstream. I mean, these are your Candace Owens type folks, and even a little bit of Tucker. Tucker's done a few shows that push the envelope past normie alternative, but sometimes he wades back into the shallow end. You know, your Sean Ryans, your Joe Rogans, your InfoWars, your yeah. Benny Johnson's. And it's not like any of these particular nodes of information are bad. They just tend to be kind of saying the thing that everybody else says. And you can get good information from them. You know, even like Gateway Pundit that I reference a lot in my shows. I'd classify them as being like mainstream normie kind of. Alternative normie, excuse me. But good to research from. They just have a specific bias, as all humans do, and you got to understand the bias when you're researching anybody or anything. Does MTG have a lot of Lockheed stock? I don't know. Official counter narrative ain't bad. Like mainstream counter mainstream alternative. Some people say Con Inc. What did MTG in her letter there write? MAGA Inc. Con Inc. is fun to say for some of these folks, but this class I'm describing, I mean it in a neutral way. Con Inc. would be like a subgroup of that where they are mainstream alternative with a dark agenda. But my mainstream alternative group I'm describing is neutral. You could have some folks in that group that are just like starting to wake up, just not that advanced in their thinking, or they're useful idiots or something. They're genuine people. They have good integrity. They're just kind of alternative normie. What do we think about David Snedeker, the indoctrination? I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, yeah. I think I've came across this guy's feed before. For some reason, I'm not a fan of him. It might have been, like, Nazara or Flat Earth. I think he's a Flat Earther. There's, like, something I came across regarding this guy where I just thought he was kind of a retard. From what I remember, it was either Nazara or Flat Earth. He was like a believer in one of those. And then I just thought this guy's kind of an idiot. How do I feel about Jason Burmis? Don't know much about him. I know the name, I know who you're talking about, but I just don't know much about him to have an opinion. Do I still exercise my remote viewing skills? Not really. No. I should, though. What do I think about Richie from Boston? I haven't looked into his stuff too much, or who he is. No! Didn't Richie from Boston... No, I take that back. It might have been somebody else. No, I'm totally thinking about somebody else. Richard Citizen Journalist. Different guy, right? It was Richard Citizen Journalist who was the dipshit I was thinking of. Yeah, I don't know much about Richie from Boston. Max Egan, yeah, still. I know who you're talking about. Don't know much about him. I would just have to refresh my memory. I've come across so many of these influencers, podcasters, and whatnot over the years that, you know, I would have to refresh my own memory about them. There's only so many data bytes you can log in the memory bank, right? So, just have to refresh myself. Remote viewing sounds trippy, pun intended. Well, it's kind of late. Gonna finish this up soon. I won't go too deep into my thoughts and theories about human consciousness and remote viewing, but I think we all do it all the time, whether we realize it or not. Certain forms of remote viewing. Wonder about dreams. I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting very vivid dreams lately, especially after the solar storm, interestingly enough. But dream analysis is quite a subject. And I really like Carl Jung's work on that. if you have the intellectual capacity to understand Carl Jung's work. Sometimes it's difficult for me to, but the subconscious, trying to connect or communicate with your conscious mind through symbolism, basically what I find dreams to be. So it's a very, very important self-actualization tool, is remembering dreams and then trying to assess them. I mean, you don't have to. You could just think, oh, what a trippy dream, and go about your day. But why not take a few moments to think about it a little deeper? Shit, that was wild. Whatever the hell I was viewing through my pineal gland last night. What does that mean? What kind of deep, unconscious problems or issues or feelings are trying to bubble up into the conscious brain of mine? Joining OnlyLands tonight? Probably not. It's been a long-ass day for me. We'll see. I was on last week. I might make it like an every other week thing. Fridays are already my long days. Third stream today. How do you decalcify your pineal gland? Just get healthy. No fancy tricks or anything. Exercise, saunas, sleep, a lot of water. Avoid the bullshit. Toxins, poisons, garbage food, chemicals. If you want extra detoxification support, you can, look into your cilantros, zeolites, milk thistles, things like that. Specifically avoid fluoride and heavy metals, but just generally get healthy. If you want extra pineal gland support, you can look into certain psychedelic substances, but even then you don't need them. Exercise, breathing exercises, meditation. There are certain supplements that, without psychedelics, you can try to help to open or influence your pineal gland. Chaga mushroom is very high in melanin, which is associated with the pineal gland. That's why chaga mushroom is so dark. It's like dark brown. Klamath Lake blue-green algae. Not spirulina or chlorella, but specifically Klamath Lake. That only grows in Klamath Lake, Oregon. But you can buy supplements of it, powders and pills. But Klamath Lake algae, how it's different than spirulina and chlorella is that it can absorb nitrogen from the atmosphere. And because Klamath Lake blue-green algae can absorb nitrogen, it can make, it has precursors to neurotransmitters in it. So Klamath Lake blue-green algae has more of an effect on our brain. And the pituitary, pineal, something or other axis, thyroid, I think. So chaga, Klamath Lake blue-green algae, ormus. I find I get wild dreams when I take a bit of ormus. And speaking of ormus, go check it out, link below. And gosh, there was one other one. I've done quite a bit of research on this. There was one other one. Fudge, that I can't remember. Hey, but I'm also a big fan of certain plants and fungi that grow on the ground that can help influence that pineal gland, if you know what I'm saying. I'm partial to the fungi. I don't really like the plants, but the plants just didn't do much for me. I've done an ayahuasca ceremony and it just didn't do much. Some people love ayahuasca and ibogaine and San Pedro and all that jazz. I didn't do much for me. But the fungus, ooh, I'm a fan of the fungus. Haha, get some blue blockers for the streams. Yeah, it could be, what's his ass? Dave Asprey? Be like some of them biohacker podcaster bros. Their fancy blue blockers. I don't know. Drink deuterium depleted water. Yeah, I'm a big fan of structured water. Adding depleted deuterium drops to water. Did Dave Asprey get plastic surgery? Is that true? Is his face bulletproof now? Deuterium is a form of hydrogen, from what I remember. Have I ever talked about bath soaking? Heard of or tried a Japanese half bath? Negative. All right, guys, any last questions, comments, concerns? Drop them in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a great weekend. This is a good mix. Some good tunes on this one. Trying out these random royalty-free YouTube mixes I downloaded. We'll keep this one. Japanese half bath with Epsom salts. I take Epsom salt baths all the time, but I prefer the Norwegian full baths. I don't know what a Japanese half bath is. Why half? All or nothing. Oh, cool. All right, guys. Have a good night. Take care. See you. Yep. See you next week. Appreciate y'all.